Happy holidays, guys. Happy holidays. Hope everyone is good with their family. Well, we'll pick up today. Obviously, it's Thursday. We'll continue our preparation. Today's, obviously a normal up-tempo practice. We'll get a chance to look at the players, get some execution on the game plan schemes, get an opportunity to evaluate the quarterbacks we go out there and practice on through the day. So, any questions, be happy to open up to you.
Anybody off the COVID list or coming off?
So Kadarius, O'Shane, and J.R. Reed are all back in the building. All three of them will work with the trainers at least to start practice, to see where they're at, to ramp them up, and then we'll see if there's any opportunity on the back end of practice, even with some kind of a walkthrough with the team or where they would be. We'd have to remove them from the list and act into the roster to include them in team activities. First priority is see where they are physically. Obviously the trainers have checked with them in terms of just how they feel. They've cleared all those tests. They've tested negative to get back in the building. But the bigger part will be just getting them out here and seeing where they are from a standpoint of inactivity for the last week and a half, as well as the symptoms they had to deal with.
Anyone else you expect to get back tomorrow or this week in general?
We're hopeful about a few, but really at this point, there's nothing to report on it.
I'm curious, how difficult is it for the guys like Adoree, Kadarius, who were injured beforehand and now they weren't here? What's the likelihood you can get them ramped up in 2 or 3 days?
Well, that's definitely a different challenge because you've got to consider not only coming off of the inactivity and the symptoms, you also have to consider where they're at with the injury. And they haven't really been able to be with our trainers, and they haven't been able to do a lot of their rehab and activity on the field, and that's just a natural setback right there, George. So just not having them out here, that's an issue you've got to deal with. You're concerned about guys like Adoree that are you playing with fire a little bit if you try to get them back and get them ramped up within that 1 day report of getting directly into the game. So some things we have to consider with that. We are able to check in with the players and see if they're doing anything as far as just physically moving around, but we can't advise them to do anything until we know they're symptom free and it's okay to clear them through some kind of a ramp up.
So why do you think you and Pat and Jerome do such a good job with the secondary? Like, you lose players, 1 week it's Aaron Robinson on the outside, next week it's Jaron Williams, but it seems like the game plan and your guys' execution on the back end doesn't suffer. What do you think the key is there?
Well, the focus for the DB is always the same as the focus for any other part of the organization. We always talk about next man up and preparing all of our players. We truly work to prepare every player in the team. And our guys have the expectation, and they get in there for the game week. I don't care if you're on practice squad, I don't care if you're a rookie, I don't care if you just got here, it doesn't matter. You're expected to play. So we've added a couple players to the practice squad with, Gnard and Dwayne Johnson, and the message has been clear to those guys, from when they got here, yesterday and today, of get in the playbook, get in the game plan, get with the coaches. You're expected to know what to do. Expect to have your number called.
We haven't had any new test positives either, right?
We have not at this moment, no.
We got time for one more?
What'd you like about the Gnard?
What I like about him? Well, I'm familiar with him from playing in the league, early on. Actually, when he first came into the league, I was coaching special teams against him. He was a gunner. He was a core guy for Darren Simmons in Cincinnati. He's got good speed. He's got good physicality. Obviously his skill set to match up on the edge as a corner. He's got experience in the league. Having some experience down in Atlanta, with Dean this year gives you a little bit of some familiarity, a little bit within the system. At least it's some familiar language that it doesn't seem completely foreign if he hears it. But the availability of him being out there is a good opportunity for us to bring in a guy with some experience, in a neat position we have right now.
Is that a position is that like the easiest position to come in, parachute in, and say, cover that guy?
No, because there's a lot of communication that's involved in our secondary on all levels. So I wouldn't say any position is easy to drop them in, and just go. Probably, kicker or punter would be the easiest, absolutely. But in terms of playing corner, just the communication and the understanding of the defensive scheme, whether it's a coverage, a pressure, whatever it may be, situational calls that we have right there, there's still a lot to get caught up on.